One of the single most important things that allowed me to get to $75,000 a month with my agency has been one thing that I have been doing on a daily basis for the last 4 months. And that is basically reflecting over my wealth, my health, and my overall performance because your business is a direct correlation of you as a person. So, basically, just to put some context into this and how this basically habit tracker has helped me is, for instance, this week. So I started this week off really bad. I started the first couple of days off in the month bad, and I was like, shit, how can I get up to that same like revenue that I was hitting last month, which was 75K? Because I started off with a really bad couple of days. The back end was not doing as I wanted to. My sales were slow, and I was like thinking about, is it just the season? You have all of these reasons to believe that that's true, but it's just not going to serve you. And basically, the thing that I've realized when you hit a new revenue level is that it becomes your identity. And I'm just stressed out if I can see that I'm not on track to hit that, which is super stressful, but it's just super powerful. And one thing that makes me always dialed in on making sure I'm hitting my goals has been my habit tracker that I'm filling out every day before I go to sleep. So essentially, what that consists of is the following. So I have my daily intention. So before I go to sleep, I always set my goals for the next day. Especially, I plan out the first 3 to 4 hours where I do my deep work, and this is mainly focusing on the biggest constraint in the business. So right now, my biggest focus, for instance, is on increasing my lifetime value, which is focusing on, for instance, bumping out like much more video for my partners. So we always make sure that we are on top of that and are basically adapting to the Andromeda update. So one thing I've done there is I've basically moved the video editing in house, so we can just bump videos out without having to wait like 4, 5, 6, 7 days for editing teams to get back to me. Another thing I've also been focusing on there is like the customer success part, obviously, because that goes into basically increasing the lifetime value. So something that I have been focusing on there is auditing the whole onboarding process. So I've been looking at the biggest reason why people have churned or partners have churned, and then implementing that to see if I can set better expectations, if I can educate them better on sales, give them the right resources for becoming successful with my program, but also for basically setting the correct expectations. And also something that I have been too bad too bad about is basically being more personal on these like onboarding meetings. It's like what I did up until this point was just jumping on, getting access to the Facebook, setting up the communication platform, and then goodbye. Just like crossing it over. But if I signed up for a program, I wanted them to go into detail about, what have I tried before? How can we make sure that you aren't, you know, seeing the same issues that you saw with the other program you were in if you have tried something that looks like this previously, and then also actually talking about the goals, like what do I want to hit, what is the game plan for getting there. That's something I never did, which is stupid. Okay, so that was a bit of a side tangent. The next thing is then where did bad habits slip up today? I'll improve on tomorrow. This is also really important because again, your personal habits is just reflecting directly into the business. So something that I've been lacking on recently is like checking my phone, scrolling reels, opening up Tinder and shit like that, dating apps, which is just cheap dopamine. And it's just the opposite of running a business because when you're running a business, you're doing the opposite of getting that instant gratification, which is delaying gratification, which is exactly what I have been doing in this week, where The first couple of days were slow, but then today it all clicked. And that's why it's so important to delay gratification, because today everything just clicked. I had a 6K PIF coming in. I signed on one of my clients to a 4K monthly retainer for just managing ads. I did 2 reoffers on sales calls that I had previous this week. So it has been a really great day, and it has really put me back on track to hitting my goals this month. Um, then what I also do is I'm looking at like one win a day. So I'm just taking a win from the day. I'm asking myself, what is the biggest constraint right now in the business? So I can essentially attack that constraint and build my daily intention based on that the day after. And then I track my calories, my energy from 1 to 10, my workout from 1 to 10, and my input in a percentage. And then this has been extremely important for the business as well, which is tracking metrics such as, am I on track to hit my projections? So my goal, for instance, this month is to sign 15 clients. How many have I signed so far? I'm looking at that on a daily basis. I'm looking at the new cash, and I'm looking at the month to date revenue. The reason why this is so important is because when I fill out these numbers and I'm not on track, it's super painful. And essentially, my mind is looking at the goal and is looking at the numbers, and it's just subconsciously working towards these goals. I think it's something that they're also talking about in psycho-cybernetics, which is just super powerful. That when you sleep, your mind will then subconsciously figure out solutions that can get you closer to that goal. So I would say that this has easily been one of the biggest things for me in terms of hitting my revenue goals. And I'll continue to use this forever. Like, as long as I run a business, I'll definitely be using this. So I would recommend having this sheet, filling it out every day, because it has been game changing for me. All right, that's it for this video. Bye bye.